Hey, I'm taking steroids and I'm going to do a bodybuilding contest. 20 milligrams a day of anabol or dynabol that I was using. What are you doing? They're taking steroids, they're dangerous, you can't do that. I'm not going to help you. Is it good for you to keep checking this thing and looking and checking your blood pressure 10 times a day? Because I can get into that mode. I wrote down everything. That's how I did it. I did it very systematically. Is it possible that I could do another Mr. Olympia? I don't know until I start training. I don't know how the triceps going to look, how it's going to function or anything. So I guess it was potentially devastating on my mental health. We're going to age, right? It's inevitable. We're going to die as well. If I'm not interested in something, it's very hard for me to absorb the information and to study it. But if I'm interested, I'll absorb the information as I did with bodybuilding. Should I go to the gym today? I was inspired a lot by Arthur Jones and Mike Mensa, who promoted this kind of high intensity training. Maybe I'm a bit of an extremist who would want to be the best in the world.
So today we're going to discuss with six-time winning bodybuilding champion of the Mr. Olympia, and we're going to kind of delve into a topic that we don't normally talk about on the channel, but something that is all tied in and interconnected, and that's how does your mind affect the rest of your life and generalized balance. So you don't want to miss my amazing discussion with Dorian Yates. Keep watching. Today, I'm happy to have Dorian Yates, a six-time Mr. Olympia winner, with us to discuss all things HRT, TRT, but more specifically his time in bodybuilding and your transition from bodybuilding into the field of longevity, because I think that's been the big thing you've been focused on.
Yeah, a long transition and kind of in a way the same approach that I made with bodybuilding to inform myself and try to do it as best as I can. So my goals are not to be a competitive bodybuilder now. It's just how to age better. I don't know, healthy aging, optimizing your aging process, whatever you want to call it. I don't like the anti-aging because it's like, you know, we're going to age, right? It's inevitable. We're going to die as well. All of that's inevitable, but how to do it optimally, like physically, mentally, spiritually, making the most of that experience and that part of your life. And I don't look upon it with any trepidation or any fear or anything negative. I'm enjoying the process where a lot of people are saying to me, hey, it sucks to get old and this and that. Not from my point of view, it doesn't. I'm feeling good.
That's good. You look great.
Thanks.
I mean, when you're training as a bodybuilder, and I've also watched some of your other fitness videos where you're a very intense trainer. And do you take that same level of intensity and apply it towards your transition towards longevity?
I think I'm very focused, especially if I'm interested in something. I can be. If I'm not interested in something, it's very hard for me to absorb the information and to study it. But if I'm interested, I absorb the information and, as I did with bodybuilding, maybe experiment a little bit with your diet and supplementation and see what's the outcome and check your hormones and check your blood and all this kind of feedback. So in a way, I'm kind of my own little experiment, how I can optimize myself during this, later decades, if you like.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, how did you come up with when you're in bodybuilding? I mean, did you have someone that coached and guided you on what you should do, nutrition, diet, I suppose even hormonal improvements?
Not really. I mean, there was no such thing as a coach. Yeah. I mean, there were more experienced guys in the gym, or maybe there was a guy that owned a gym and he would have competitors from his gym that he would help and give advice on various things. And then you had the magazines and occasional people coming over from the USA. As when I started, it was really USA-based sport. All the top guys are from the USA. Every couple of months, there will be a top guy coming from USA doing seminars around the country, and so you could go and watch those and get information. But very much I did it myself. I think I really was attracted to bodybuilding because it was very individual at that point. People didn't have coaches and nutritionists. I had to go to the library and buy a book on nutrition with all the breakdown of the macros and everything like that. And I enjoyed that process. I enjoyed the learning, the training, and it's kind of was doing this all on my own.
So when you started and you did the bodybuilding, looking back, was there anything that you regretted that you did in the way you trained, or what you took to get to that level?
I mean, because it's a learning process, right? And that's how I did it. I did it very systematically. I wrote down everything. So I actually wrote down.
So you kept it
I got every workout from the day I walked in the gym and said, right, I'm going to be a bodybuilder. This is what I'm doing. I wrote everything down. I wrote every workout down. Every month I would like assess what I'd done in that month, and then set myself some goals for the next month as far as like, okay, I'm bench pressed 100 kilos now for 6. Next month I want to do 105 for 6 or 8. And every month putting these goals, writing down my diet, supplements I was taking, and the response. I was inspired a lot by Arthur Jones and Mike Mensa, who promoted this kind of high intensity training. And I was impressed by that. It made sense. It was logical. I could understand it. But more to the point, when I did it in the gym, it was working. And then guys were telling me, but other people do more and you should try more. And I'm like, okay, let me do that. I would up my train. I was only training 3 times a week when I started because I wasn't using steroids and I was working as well. So then I try and train 4 or 5 days a week, and immediately my progress would stop. So then I go back to 3 days and it would start again. So, there's the feedback. The theory sounds great, but sometimes things in theory don't cover everything. But it worked in practice. And if I did more training, my progress slowed down. So I was always a believer in brief, high intensity workouts. Got a bit more frequent as I got further along, but then I was a pro and I was using steroids and I wasn't having a job and I could rest all day. So, but the most I was training was 4 days out of 6, and no more than an hour workout.
So short and intense workout.
Yeah.
And then you said you became a pro, and that's when you started using steroids?
No, I used steroids when I was an amateur as well. I mean, pretty quick. I started training in 83. I did my first contest in 85, so nearly 2 years in, that's when I started using. I mean, but it was like 20 milligrams a day of anabol or dynabol that I was using.
So it wasn't a testosterone base, and
it wasn't even an injection, because everyone was a bit nervous about having an injection initially. So everyone would pretty much start with the orals, although like theoretically we could say the orals may be harsher on your health because you've got to go through the liver, but it's a pill. Like sticking yourself with a needle was like serious stuff at that point. So that's all I used. And then I used a little bit more, and I was British champion by 86. So, my first contest that I went into on a very little, like 20 milligrams, I went on stage in a novice class and just everyone was blown away. And they said I was the best heavyweight they had in the country at that point. I didn't believe them, to be honest. I had no idea.
You got good genetics, good training.
Yeah, good genetics, good training. Didn't waste time. I studied training. I studied nutrition. I learned what I could about steroids. And so I think I didn't waste time. Plus, I had very good genetics. So after 2 years, I was like able to win a national standard, which is not, is not normal, right?
Fantastic. And then did you add anything else like HGH in down the road?
I didn't. I used growth hormone. I think I used it just a little bit when I was getting ready for my first pro show, but it was only during the dieting period, and there was a low dose for IUs a day for the last couple of months. So it may have helped me get leaner, but it was 1992 when I used it in the off season, and then I was using 8 IUs a day, which was considered to be a good effective dose. And then I noticed, not overnight, but it was almost like my off-season weight had stalled at about 20 stone, so it's about 280.
Yeah.
So I was big anyway, but I kind of like felt that was a plateau I was kind of sticking at for about a year. And then when I started using the growth hormone at this 8 IUs a day, it's almost like it took away that barrier, and I started, not dramatically overnight, wow, he's put on 20 pounds, no, but slowly, I went from 280 in a year to like 290. Wow. And then the next year was 295, 300. So it was like a different level with the muscle mass, I think. with the growth hormone. But yeah, I didn't use that until I was pro.
And then when you eventually left doing professional bodybuilding, did you stay on certain hormones? Or
Well, here's the thing. So I tore my tricep tendon in '97, getting ready for the contest. And after the contest, I had a surgery to reattach it. And then I wanted to see, like, how will it go to get back into training? And is it possible that I could do another Mr. Olympia? I don't know until I start training. I don't know how the tricep's going to look, how it's going to function or anything. So slowly get back into training. But I realized at some point, so I was using some steroids during that point, some testosterone, some nandrolone, just, you know, to help the recovery and to start training, getting the size back and everything. And I realized that there was just a big difference in the strength, the function of the left to right side. Not only that, aesthetically, it looked different. The medial head had really torn and reduced. So then I'm like, well, let's just be honest, I can't train properly. There's no way I can compete with the best in the world. And I was lucky, you know, to be able to get through to the contest last time and win it, because I couldn't train for the last 3 weeks with a severe injury. No point to go and try again, because I couldn't even match that, and I'll get beaten, and what's the point of that? Maybe I'm a bit of an extremist, I guess. Who would want to be the best in the world at anything? It's a bit extreme, right? So you must be. So I said I'm using steroids as a tool of the trade, and, like, you know, that's it. So when I finished steroids. And also my wife at the time was like wanting to have another baby, and we were kind of like, let's put it off until I finish, and then like I got more time and let's fix the hormones, and so there was that as well. So I said, I'm just going to stop, and I just stopped. I just stopped cold turkey, and that was not. I'm definitely advising you not to do that. Yeah?
So I was going to ask you, how did it play into your mental health at the time? And
well, it was. I guess it was potentially devastating on my mental health. It's hard to say because there was a lot of other factors. I mean, first of all, I retired from something that was totally absorbing and was my whole life and becomes your whole identity. So now that's taken away, and I really don't know who I am or what I should do. Or, I mean, there's not even, was a complete cutoff because there's no internet or anything then. So, you know, the world is,
so this is
the world is a small place now. You know, you can message your friend or the other side of the world, and all this, it was a different time. You're only visible as a professional bodybuilder in magazines or on videotapes. Now I'm finished and I'm cut off. There's no social media. There's no way. And I don't know. I just felt like I didn't know who I was. I felt like things in my personal life, in my marriage, that were probably not good, but I had been putting my head in the sand as I was. Just need to be like that. Some things you can't confront, or you don't want to, because you need to keep focused, and as a competitor. So there was that, and somebody else, somebody in my family that was young, and they died very unexpectedly. So all these things happened within a year period, and my hormones were like on the floor. And I went to see an endocrinologist, and after talking with him, he said, to be honest, as far as, like, you know, recovering yourself and your testosterone and everything after steroids, I think you know more than me. I mean, this was like devastating. I'm like, I come here for advice, man. And should I do HCG? Should I do that? And he's like, I don't know. Basically, you probably sound like you know more than me. So he was just a fertility doctor. He didn't know anything about that, like the testosterone. And mentally I was having a hard time. I was like having anxiety attacks in the night. And I mean, eventually it took me about 2 years, but I've just worked it out myself. Like, let me take some testosterone, and things leveled out. Then I was able to think a bit more clearly and deal with things. But it was a very, I don't know how it would be if I was, the only factor I had to deal with was that I was coming off testosterone and I had low testosterone. Under normal circumstances, how would I feel? I'd probably feel depressed, but there was also an avalanche of things that I had to confront at the same time. So yeah, I was, I mean, as low as you want to talk about, I was suicidal. I was like, I don't know who I am. I don't know what the point is. And who was that guy? Who was that guy that won all those contests and was like on top of the world and was like a king? I mean, who was that? I don't even know who that was. Like, that's how I was feeling at the time. And, you know, just having a shot of testosterone didn't fix all those things, but eventually put me in a better frame of mind to be able to think a bit more logically and so on and work things out. And it took me a long time to I don't know why I felt like that. I felt like the Mr. Olympia's over.
Yeah.
And now I need to be somebody else. Like I needed to reinvent myself and be somebody else. But in fact, being Mr. Olympia is always going to be a big part of my life and a big part of it. But it's not, you know, it doesn't sum me up. It's not my identity. It's part, and it's a huge part of my life, because otherwise nobody interested in talking to me, right? And I wouldn't be able to get my views across and hopefully just help people with my life experience, especially guys that are younger and they want to, you know, they don't have a lot of people to look up to. That I've been there. I've lived life. I've been.
Now you want to give back.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. I think that's the whole point, really. In the end, you achieve your goals, you win your battles, you win your trophies, you win some money, and all this stuff. But there's always a greater purpose, I believe, behind it, and that I have a platform and that I can reach people. I think is what I'm doing now. Yeah,
you're doing good work out there.
I mean, I'm just being me. That's who I need to be, and speak myself, my own truth, and encourage everybody to do that for themselves. They don't have to be me or agree with me or follow my path or anything like that. It's just to really be able to question yourself.
Yeah. And
who are you? You know, are you really you? Is it really your opinions that's going through your head? Is it really, or are you following because it's comfortable, or did somebody else tell you and you never questioned it? You know, be your own expression and question everything, because most things are not true.
Yeah,
most things are not true. So question everything, even me. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that's a good outlook. You're free when you have that outlook. When
you're free. Just question. I mean, that's my favorite hobby. People ask me, I say for a joke, but I'm serious. Like, what do you do now? What's your hobby? Fucking thinking. Thinking
is your hobby.
Is my hobby. Yes.
And
continual thinking and analysis of self, of like, what is this? You know?
Where am I?
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't we be doing that? Like, at least at some point, maybe you don't think like that when you're 25 or 30 because you're young and you want to kill the world and conquer, and you're young and that's your drive, right? But at some point, I know it's a game. More than that, I know it's a game which I can interact with and I can influence with my thoughts.
Do you still see the 25-year-old in yourself? I mean, I sometimes look back and I'm 50.
No, I said before, so I'll be repeating myself a little bit, but I think it's an important point that I fucking love that guy. I'm very proud of that guy, because he had the focus and the strength to just do that and build that on his own.
That's great.
Like, nobody was saying this is a good idea to do this. Nobody was saying, well done, mate. You go around and, my mates were buying cars, they were going out and all this stuff that I wasn't doing, but I was loving what I was doing, and I was in there. I was like, I'm living a dream here. I'm making something. So I'm proud of that guy, because without that guy, I wouldn't be this guy, would I?
No. We're all some of the experiences that we.
Yeah, that's why I don't do regrets, and I don't do I can only say I did this, and maybe it would be better to do that, and somebody else can learn from that. But it's part of my process, so it's not to say change it or have any regrets, because it's all part of the tapestry of your life, everything that happens.
That's a good outlook. That's definitely a good outlook. So you did the testosterone, you got better.
Yeah.
Did you do it in cycles? Did you just continue on with that? Did you find a solution? Because I think you said you.
No, I was just doing like 250 a week or something like that. So it's probably over TRT.
Was the doctor helping you at the time?
No,
or you're back on.
No, I just did it myself. There was nobody around then. It's not like now, That's what I'm saying to the guys now. You have access to so much information and help and everything. So I went to my doctor.
Yeah,
it's Castle Vale. It's one of the big council estates in Birmingham. So this guy's used to dealing with alcoholics, underage pregnancies, depression, all kind of stuff. Yeah. So I'm a kid and I'm going to him. Hey, I'm taking steroids and I'm going to do a bodybuilding contest. Oh, I'd like if you could do my blood test, right? So he's like horrified. Like, what are you doing? They're taking steroids. They're dangerous. You can't do that. I'm not going to help you. No, I don't want you to give me a prescription or something. I already got the stuff. Yeah. I'm just saying I'd like to know. Anyway, so he was like, no, I don't want to do that and everything. But then a few months later, I was on TV because I was at the World Games, right? Which is the World Championships. And the TV cameras were there and they caught it and it was on TV. there's only 3 or 4 channels TV then, no internet, right? So if
yeah.
you're on TV,
Yeah,
even for 10 seconds, that's big news, mate. Like everyone knows, yeah? So he said, I saw you on TV. And it's like, so what you're doing is very serious, yeah? I said, oh, that's what I'm trying to tell you, mate. Like, I'm going to make a career out of this one way or another. So then he said, oh, as I see you're serious, I'll do your checks now. So
good.
Just do basic blood check and blood pressure. And that was it. It was like, you know, your liver enzymes are a bit high, your kidney readings are a bit high, your blood pressure's a bit high. You're not dying, but like make your money and get out.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't an expert or anything on hormones. It was just a general GP that I kind of struck a little bit of a friendship with. So he helped me out. But it's easy now to get all your blood values done. And then it was only basic, like cholesterol, liver function, kidney function. Now you've got all inflammatory markers, all the different things that you should keep an eye on. And then you can make informed judgments. If something's looking out of whack, you can change it, or you can stop, or you can adjust. We didn't have that back in the day. I had it just because I was persistent. But all the other guys were basically wouldn't go to their doctors because they knew their doctor would be negative. And so they just said, I'll just, I'll just wing it. If something goes wrong, I'll probably feel it.
So now you're on TRT.
Yeah.
And you're focused on longevity. And tell me, what does that encompass? What are you?
Important markers, first of all, is muscle mass, isn't it? Which I don't exactly have a problem with because I've still got a lot of muscle mass from the bodybuilding career. All I need to do now is really maintain it, which I can do. Even though I've got injuries, I can't push overhead, I can't push a lot of weight. But I can do light dumbbells and machines. Injuries, shoulder injuries, and the tricep. It's fully attached, but it's a rotator cuff, so supraspinatus are torn on both sides. This side I fell off from my mountain biking, so I dislocated it, and I rehabbed it with no surgery. And honestly, it's probably better than the side that I had 2 or 3 surgeries on. So I rehabbed that myself.
Sometimes it's
took some peptides, which is interesting. I don't know, BPC 157.
I'm familiar with that,
Did it help? I don't know because I don't have anything to compare it to, but I recovered well and quickly, so it could have done, plus the fact that I was moving it and rehabbing it and everything like that. So yeah, muscle mass, keeping the hormones in an optimal level. So my testosterone is like pretty much towards the high end of the free test.
About like 35.
I can't know whatever everywhere does the parameters a bit different, but it's on the end there. I think it's 20, 25 here or something.
Yeah. Sometimes they're age adjusted as well,
So that's the training for that. Diet, fairly high protein, fairly high fat if it's good, natural fats, and moderate carbohydrates and not zero carbs or anything. I still eat some rice, maybe a bit of sweet potato, vegetables, a bit of fruit, pretty much no grains and bread and stuff, but I might once on a weekend or something. I eat twice a day and maybe a shake or something as a third meal or something like that.
Were you doing the 6 meals a day when you were competing?
Yeah, I was doing 6 meals a day for a long time after I stopped because that was just what I knew. And that's, we were talking earlier, I said I went for a check and my blood pressure was a bit high and I was like 255. And I decided to go on a kind of plant-based, low-protein diet and lose weight.
Yeah.
And I did bring my weight down and it did bring my blood pressure down. And that's something I would like to ask your opinion on. Like you're dealing with a lot of people. But that was my practical experience.
Because I mean, we know that muscle mass is important as you age and maintaining the muscle mass. I was just wondering if there were.
But at some point, like excessive muscle mass, that's true. Like a professional bodybuilder, is that detrimental? Like, and I did the thing you watch with Ross Scala. We were talking, and he's like, I said, look, you're 5'10", you're 280. It's muscle, it's fat. Is there any difference? He was like, I don't think so. In other words, if you're excessive in body weight, even if it's muscle, it's not helpful.
Yeah, there's some that say the heart's going to have to pump further, longer, it has to reach all those other areas. But then if you have higher muscle mass, you're going to have better insulin sensitivity, and it's going to handle glucose better. So, it's hard to say, but
that was my experience anyway. I lost weight, and I should imagine most of it was muscle. Might have been some excess water or something. I don't know, but it brought my blood pressure down. Now I'm like 230, and I keep there, and I think I'm like quite lean, probably 10% or less body fat. So I do twice a week with weights.
Oh, just twice a week. Weights.
Twice a week. So I do very little. I do let's say for chest, I do dumbbell bench press.
Okay.
I'm about 25 kilos maybe, light weights, because I can't use any more
Because of
with the shoulders, I can do like pec deck or something quite heavy. I'll do a couple of sets on there. Some lateral raises, some push downs, some curls. You know, that's it, man. Just a few sets just to maintain, and it's quite easy to maintain with that. And I do once a week, I do legs. At the moment, I just do leg extension, leg curls, and some body weight stuff. I go cycling once a week. I do interval cardio once a week. I do Pilates or yoga, mainly Pilates at the moment, for movement and mobility. So I'm doing some muscle mass work. I'm doing some cardio work. I'm doing some mobility work. I'm covering all the bases, man. And, you know, I go walk the dog and stuff like that.
So getting your steps in. Do you do monitor? Do you have like an Apple Watch?
No, I like, and I'm OCD, yeah. So if I have these things, it just becomes, I'm just checking it all the time. I mean, after a while, I recognize a pattern.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't need, yes, I've used the Apple Watch and everything, yeah.
Yeah.
But once I've used it a few times, I know,
how much,
you know, I know when my heart rate's high and when it's medium. I don't really need the thing. Right. I know if I had a shitty night's sleep or a good one.
You don't need
so for me, it's not. It's a tool that can become like, in a way, a negative mentally. Yeah, because I tend to be OCD, so it's better if I just relax on it. And I'm trying to get like my whole life at this point. I think the whole art is to just bring everything like in a balance. Yeah, you know, that's where I'm getting to. Like everything comes into the middle. Yeah, so. Yes, fitness and diet and everything's a big part of my life. It's what I do, it's what I teach, it's what I talk about, but to not get obsessive about it where it becomes
the overriding factor.
Kind of a low level anxiety or something. Then like, is this really helping you now? This has always got to be the question, you know, at this point in life. I don't have many like wise people that I look up to that I think they're wise and I can learn and they're teachers, but I do have one gentleman that I consider to still be my teacher. He's my friend, but he's my teacher. He's older than me. And, you know, you can go as, like a bodybuilding or anything, you can go as deep and as technical as you want, or you can simplify. I think it's great if you can simplify things. And it's like, the question, is it good for you? That's the question.
Is it good for you?
Is it good for you? That's the question. No, you know, it's pretty simple, right? Is it good for you to keep checking this thing and looking and checking your blood pressure 10 times a day? Because I can get into that mode. Yeah. Because that was very helpful to some degree when I was bodybuilding, but that won't be helpful now. So yeah, I know. You know, I've done a big test when I went to Brazil. My wife's from Brazil, so I went to a sports clinic there and I did the test of VO2 max and biological fitness age and recovery and all that stuff, and that was really good. It was like overall biological fitness age was 37 and in the 95 plus percentile for my age.
VO2 max, that's good.
Yeah, and recovery, heart rate recovery after peaking, and they put it all together, you know, the whole the whole assessment. So I was happy with that. It shows what I'm doing. Like, if you want to analyze it, that's a professional analysis. So I don't need to watch every day on my Apple Watch.
Plus, Apple Watch doesn't take into account if you do the cross trainer or the elliptical.
Yeah, and I don't. I make it part of my life. I've been like traveling, for instance, the last 2 weeks. I've been to UK, Romania, Bulgaria, and Georgia, doing promotions for my company, DY Nutrition, and doing talks and everything. And there's a lot of flying, should I go to the gym today? Quite honestly, if I probably don't have the energy and I don't see that that's going to be a plus. Yeah. So I think I did like within 2 weeks, 2 sessions. I just went to the gym to ride the bike for half an hour. Okay. And every morning I did 10 or 15 minutes stretching and moving just to keep, and I didn't train and like, is it really going to matter if I don't train for 2 or 3 weeks on my overall? I'm up there, I'm 95 percentile plus, man. Like, you know, you'll be fine, relax. So it's not a priority as it was. Like training, my whole life is around training.
I think some of us, I used to feel, you know, I would train between 4 and 6 or 7 in the evening, and there was this almost a witching hour where I felt the pressure, anxiety if I don't go to the gym, if I don't train within that amount of time.
Yeah, because that pressure, that anxiety is useful at some point to keep you on your toes. But turn it on, turn it off is the art, right? If you need it, if I need it, it's there. But yeah, I need to enjoy my life. I need to be relaxed and. 90% of the time I eat good food. If I want to eat 10% shit and drink beer,
then you do.
Cool. Like, you know, what's the point of me doing all this training, been in the gym for 40 years, if I can't have a fucking few weeks off sometimes? It's like, am I going to fall apart? No, I'm not. Like, you know, but we often get into this obsessive thinking and we're not balanced, which is inevitable if you're doing competition, but if you're listening to this and you just want to like make it part of your life, you know, and make your life better, because the training and the nutrition makes your life better, not that it starts taking away from your life because now you're being obsessed and you're not spending time
That's
with
not healthy either,
loved ones, or you're not doing other things that you would like to do because now you're just obsessed with your body. I need my body as a vehicle, man.
Yeah.
I need it to move around in, so I need it in good shape so I can enjoy my life, so I can go and I can travel and I can go places and experience things and go and eat some shit food if I want to sometimes, but it's all in balance.
Yeah.
You know, and you see people that are not well and they're not healthy. It's not fun, man. It's not fun. It's not fun when you can't move, and I like to go out in nature and walk and ride my bike, so that's why I'm keeping in shape, really.
Good. No,
And also, like, yeah, you can do it.